Welcome to the Preppin Patriots Podcast.
Oh, what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. We're here with myself and Cam talking preparedness because, you know what? Disasters don't plan ahead, people, but you can. I don't know who said that, but maybe I can just coin that little phrase here. So what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Today is a much better day than Monday was.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, Monday was horrible.
That was real
Monday
rough.
was horrible. I started getting up at 5 a.m. on Monday. Monday was my first day. It was not a good day. So apologize for Monday's podcast. I literally titled it like totally randomness because that's really all we did was just total random things. So apologize for that. But things are going a lot better. And we had some conflicts this morning. We had some tech issues this morning because we're trying out some new software, new gear, things like that. So we're recording in the afternoon today, which I don't know. I might want to do this more, but scheduling conflicts, probably have more conflicts trying to record in the afternoon anyway. So we'll just keep it to mornings for now. But yeah, today, I think we're going to be talking about as we go through like the preparedness journey and kind of start this little series on different topics of preparedness. I wanted to kick off one of the topics of EDC or everyday carry and get home bags, because those are really easy things that people can do. I mean, you can probably put together a get home bag with the existing stuff laying around your apartment or house without buying anything. Maybe a backpack or a small bag, but if you're like my wife, who's just a bag nut, she's got.
I was just going to say, women in general, they're always ED carrying, right? They always have their purse. They've got all the different supplies. If you're a mom, almost always have your Kleenexes, your lip balm, your, whatever you need for the day. So it's not that much difficult or not that much different from what's already going on.
Yeah. It's not hard to build one of these bags. You don't have to go buy a whole bunch of stuff. You can, you can go buy a bunch of expensive stuff, but for the most part, the concept of, we'll get into everyday carry. For me, the definition of everyday carry is some people have like everyday carry bags. I don't. Like everyday carry for me is just things that are on my body. Like my wallet is everyday carry. My Leatherman is everyday carry. Of course, you have your keys and just different things like that. And that's everyday carry for me. So the Leatherman is one of those things where I always have my multi-tool on me because there's so many uses for a multi-tool. These are the things I have on me. So
Same.
the concept of everyday carry. Yeah, you need a multi-tool. You need a multi-tool for everyday carry. But why have everyday carry? Everyday carry is not really, I guess it was coined like as a prepping terminology, but to be honest, we all have something we carry with us every day. We're just defining and suggesting what those things might be. So, for me, my everyday carry, again, my Leatherman, again, my wallet. In my wallet, of course, I got credit card, debit card, my ID. And then I have one of those, like, have you seen those little multi-tool, like credit card looking things? Like I have one of those. I've used that thing so stinking much. Those things are really, really cool. I have one of those. And my belt, I have this very specific belt that I wear every day. It's like this tactical belt. It's really, really thick, really strong. It has multiple uses for it. That way I can take it off. I can use it for other things. That's essentially what I carry every day. But again, I don't really go anywhere because I work from home.
Yeah.
So, yours might be a little bit different.
No, actually, mine's pretty much the same. I was just telling JT before we got on here that I can't find one of my EDC items because I put it down somewhere upstairs and now I can't find it because I'm here most of the time at home. But when I do go out, I've got several of the same things. I've got a, slim little Ridgeline wallet. I don't like a big bulky wallet to go in my pocket. So it needs some cards taken out of there, but very slim. It doesn't take up a lot of space. Leatherman tool. I've got the Leatherman Surge. Love this tool. It's got your pliers. It's got your knives. It's got it's got literally everything as part of it. I use it every single day. And it's one of those scenarios where, a lot of people are like, oh, I need a screwdriver. Oh, I need some scissors. Or I need this. And they're constantly having to look for those items. I don't ever have that situation anymore. If I need to tighten up a wire on something, if I need to I went to my mother-in-law's house. Yep. Went to my mother-in-law's house. She was like, oh, hey, can you disconnect my washer and dryer from the wall because I need to replace those? I'm like, sure. And so I start pulling away from the wall. Oh, she's got a grounding cable going from, I think it was the dryer to the wall or something like that. And I'm like, okay. So she's like, oh, do you need a screwdriver? Nope. Pulled out the Leatherman, went to the right thing, unscrewed it. Needed the pliers to be able to unscrew the water lines to the wall. I mean, I did every part of the task needed, and I already had the tool on me. Yeah.
One thing with the Leatherman, I also carry a Leatherman and I carry a knife on me because the Leatherman, the specific reason why I carry the knife is the knife I have has a very specific purpose. Of course, it's a straight blade. It's bigger, but also it's one of those like has the seatbelt cutter feature on it, whereas the Leatherman doesn't. So I always carry my knife on me because you never know, like, you know, you get in an accident or, you know, you come upon an accident, you need to get somebody out of their seat. You can just quick cut that. I've never had to use it, but again, it's just, I like the feature of that knife. So yeah, I do carry the knife. I do carry the Leatherman. And then when I do go out, I do add one thing to my EDC, which is obviously my gun. So that pretty much wraps up my EDC stuff. You know.
One thing I would probably add is a flashlight. Can't tell you how many times at night taking trash light or taking trash out or whatever the case may be, I don't have a light. Something falls on the ground underneath the car, whatever the case may be. So I've got one that's a little low profile. I like this one because it actually folds in different directions. Oh. It's got a magnetic base. So if I want to just attach it to the hood of my car, like say I need to check my oil or something like that, put it up, attach it on there, angle the light to whatever direction I need it to be to turn on.
Oh, that's slick.
And
what
this one,
is that a stream light?
It's called a Fight Electric. I got it, I want to say at Costco. They had like a 3-pack, but it's got a belt clip on it, so I can keep it in my pocket. And then it's USB rechargeable, so I can recharge it at any time. And then it's got 3 settings. You've got bright, dim, and then you've got the SOS, whatever. Yeah. So, or that one's just a regular probe. But then the new one I just got is even thinner and smaller, and there's a little attachment on there, but much tinier, much lighter. But I got the wrong model. I asked for the wrong one for Christmas. This one is actually a black light, which has had many uses recently because my kids are doing like, that was but my kids have some like glow in the dark golf for outside, and it's just easy just being able to turn this on, make the balls glow and the sticks glow, and boom, now we're outside playing. But this little attachment that goes on it actually turns it into a big old green light that can go bright, and there's so you've got bright, you've got light, and then you've got I can't get it to work now. There's an SOS probe on that one. So
okay,
pretty cool.
I used to carry a flashlight. You know, I had like the pouch, you know, I'd wear one of these pouches that could fit the Leatherman, the flashlight, and it just got too bulky. Yeah. And I figured like, I don't know. I just figured I always have my phone on me. It's got a flashlight. It does the things I needed to do. However, I like the points of like the multifunctional flashlight where like I could put it on a magnet. Like it's got a magnet and I can just stick it to things. That's super handy. That's super handy. But I also have one of those, like I have multiple light sources in my Get Home bag. That stays with me all the time. Like if I'm out in my truck, like driving wherever me and my truck go, my Get Home bag just sits in the truck. And I have there's a lot more in that than just every day what I'm out and about doing. So I figure if I'm in my truck and I need a flashlight, I'm just going to grab it out of the Get Home bag. If I'm in the mall or something, or if I'm out in the dark and I don't have access to it, then typically 90% of the time my phone light works the best. I don't know. I mean, I used to have the same mindset, and then I just stopped carrying my phone with me. So I really don't like having my phone on me anymore. So the only other item that I normally have that I don't have is I have a tactical pen. So I think the one that I have is from Warrior Poet Society. Okay. And it's really nice. It's a self-defense tool. It's got a big spike on it. You can break your window. You take off the end cap and now you've got a pen. It's really slick. It's got a clip on it. It's really effective.
But, you know, you brought up a good point on the, you know, piece that you can put your Leatherman tool and all that kind of stuff. I assume it attaches to your belt, probably.
Yeah.
That's something I've been looking to get because I'm tired of having things in my pockets. I get so annoyed with stuff in my pockets. Yeah, very frustrating. And I do have a belt as well as my everyday. I'm not carrying yet, but I have a carry. And I'm trying to get better at it, like not have the magazine on me where I'm just carrying the gun, where it's getting more and more comfortable and I'm getting used to it. And I'm trying different locations to see what works well for me, what doesn't work well for me. But I haven't found the right holster yet. So that's the only reason why I'm not like wearing it all the time. I just have an outside the waist. I'm probably looking at inside the waist, but that'll be my next carry item.
I have a holster to try for you to try. What kind of gun do you got? What kind of gun do you carry?
Hellcat RDP. Okay. So it's Springfield.
Springfield. Okay. All right. So that might fit because I was carrying XDS for a while. So if it's anything like the XDS, then the concealed carry holster I use, it's not one of those that sits. It fits on your belt, but it's designed to like sit low on your thigh. So it's real comfortable to like sit in a truck or whatever, and it's very like you can't even tell it's there. And then to get it out, there's like a flip that you pull on, and it pulls out really nice. It pulls out because it goes below the belt line. It doesn't stay on your belt. It goes below the belt line. Nice. And it's designed to where you can pull it up through the belt line real nice and real smooth. And then the gun's just like you pull it out with your left hand, and it's literally right there for your right to pull.
And then you don't have your shirt or sweater or anything like that in the way then at that point.
No, you don't. You don't have like, you know, you can wear your shirt tucked in. And it just looks like, it doesn't even look like it's a holster. I gotta go get it and look at the name on it. Really,
I think I've seen something like that similar to that.
Yeah. You should give that a go.
And so that's the new phase I'm getting into right now. And you know, we're in interesting times, you know, things are getting a little bit scarier out there, or you're seeing a lot more news events on things happening, and just making sure we're prepared. We're trying to have different things. You brought up a good point about having a separate knife for cutting seatbelt and that kind of stuff. I was in the same boat. I had a marine style knife that had a seatbelt cutter and a window glass breaker and then a big knife. You know, you flip it open and you got a big knife. But we actually got little, it's a seatbelt cutter and glass breaker tools that are in our cars now. Each vehicle has one right in the center console. And I think we were actually going to be looking to clipping them onto like the visors and stuff so that they're closer by. But that reduced a item out of my pockets by having those in each car, because I'm only going to use it when I'm in the car.
Yeah.
Because I already had a knife on my Leatherman.
Yeah.
Two, actually. This one has the saw blade one. I don't know if you can actually see that. And then you get the flat knife. So I already have two knives. Why have a third knife, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. And all these things, like the way I approach stuff like this, between EDC, Get Home bag, Bug Out bag, is like for me, my strategies, they build upon each other. So my EDC builds into or can build onto my Get Home bag. And the Get Home bag, like the reason why I'm a big proponent of Get Home bags, they're not hard to build. You don't even, if you don't like, I don't want to be labeled a prepper because I have that Get Home bag. Well, then don't call it a Get Home bag. Just call it a backpack in your car that has stuff in it that can potentially help you in a situation. So I tend to break down like the Get Home bag into like four different things, like four different reasons why I carry a Get Home bag. Number one is like emergency preparedness. A Get Home bag could really just prepare you for unexpected events. Accidents, things that disrupt your means of transportation, like that kind of stuff. If you're on the road in the middle of nowhere and you break down, and it's like right now it's like -20 in Wisconsin, even if you have cell phone reception, because a lot of people go, I got a cell phone, I'll just call AAA. Well, it's going to take AAA time to get to you. So having a bag that's got winterized clothes in it, an extra pair of pants, maybe some undergarments, maybe an extra sweater or some extra socks to keep warm until AAA gets there. Well, you wouldn't have.
How about? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to say, how about food and water? Look at back in the last year and how many highways have been shut down because of big accidents taking place.
Yeah.
The sliding that just took place from the big ice storm. What was that down at Southeast? I think around the Carolinas or something in Texas.
No, Texas, yeah.
Both scenarios. I mean, they had like 40 plus vehicles that were all just piled up. There's no way on either side of the highway to go. There was people trapped there for hours, some places days. And if you don't have any food or any water, like truckers were saying like, hey, come to us. We've got some food and water stored in our semis because that's where we live out of. But I mean, there's certain scenarios. If you look back and just do some Google searches, where there's people starving or, you know, being completely dehydrated, starving to death even, or freezing to death. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and so number one is just for the emergency side of things, because you never know when, you know, an emergency is going to happen. So having stuff in a bag that can help you through an emergency while you're on the road, is there's nothing like, there's no crazy doomsday prepper in that. So, the second reason is like, it's a convenience thing to have a bag in your car with just stuff in it for convenience. Like, hey, you are out on the road and you forgot to grab breakfast or something and you're super hungry. Well, just go grab the snack bars you got out of your bag and eat them. I mean, it's not, these things are meant to be used. Like, I use my Get Home bag a lot. I'm constantly taking from that thing and replenishing that thing because it's a convenience thing for me. If I'm hungry, if I forget water, if I'm thirsty, if, you know, I forgot my hat at home, then I always have a hat. I have a ball cap, and then I have a beanie in the Get Home bag. I can wear that and then just put it back. Like, these things are meant for convenience. So that's another reason why I'm a big proponent of Get Home bags.
definitely.
And with that convenience comes peace of mind, right? I have a peace of mind that, hey, I'm pretty well can tackle any, like, you know, anything I can think of that might come that way. That's a temporary inconvenience. That gives me a little bit of peace of mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And then to add to that, food, water, clothing, that's all great stuff. But you also have to think about the time of year that you're in or in the location that you live. Mm-hmm. If you're surrounded by snow all the time and you slide off the road into a ditch, you're now relying on somebody else to come get you. You know, they could charge you an arm and a leg to get you out of that situation. Nobody could come at all because you have no service. Just thinking of those scenarios, I mean, people pay for AAA and they pay for, oh, I've got this brand new car that has OnStar and they could find me no matter what, or, you know, whatever the case may be. I mean, we're just thinking of those scenarios where if that's not available, or it's several hours before you run into getting help for something. So I actually brought mine down as well. This is, and to your point, these aren't something that you have to go spend a ton of money on. It can accumulate over time. So I started off with a tiny backpack, and then I started off with 3 backpacks, and then a backpack per person in the family. And then I had like a clear tub of clothes and a water jug and this and this. And now it's gotten to a point where I have a bag. And then on this bag, I've got our blood types. I've got everything labeled inside the bag on, like, if it's fire or first aid or food or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And this took some time to put together. Like, this is something that I didn't just go out. If I were to put all this together right now, you know, I'm sure it's hundreds of dollars. I mean, I'm sure I probably have like $800 worth of stuff or something like that. I don't know. I'm just throwing out a number.
But you didn't start there. Yeah, you didn't start there.
No.
Like, that's not where you started. And I wouldn't recommend, like, trying to, like, because before, when I was building bags, I was like, oh, let me go on YouTube and figure out all this stuff, and then I'd buy all this. But I never knew, like, I never knew how to use any of it. So, like, I just like throw just some general things, use the bag, and then you can add to it later. Because what this does essentially, we'll get into like specific items here in a minute. But the last point that I was making is what a Get Home bag really, the main point of what it is, it's self-sufficiency. Like, a Get Home bag enables you to be self-sufficient. It provides you with the tools, the supplies you need to get home without relying on anybody else. And there are a lot of scenarios where you may not have the option but to rely on just yourself to get yourself home or to a place where you can be safe. That that's one of the main reasons why a Get Home bag is a very smart thing to just have in your car. And it takes up a little bit of space, but I think for the investment
that safety and security and peace of mind makes a world of difference.
Makes a world of difference. And the first time you use it, I guarantee you, the first time you have a real world scenario where you're like, oh, I'm broken down and it's 3 hours but I can go get my hats and gloves and all that from my bag. Or even the smallest things like I forgot food or water, you can just grab it because you were prepared for it. Man, the feeling that comes over me, at least when I actually have to like have a real world scenario, I'm using it. I'm like, I'm glad I have this thing because it's little investment. It's just a backpack. That's all it is. It's literally just a backpack. It's not some people get all tactical. Like it could be like, you could go to Walmart and get a $10 like school bag and go there. You don't have to have these 511 tactical bags. You can. I mean, I like them, but you don't have to.
And I can say I've used my bag almost every trip now that I've taken. When I went on the Appalachian Adventure, or when I went down to Florida for Disney, or if I went to Kentucky to visit friends, I've used it for every single trip so far. It could be anything from, a friend or somebody having a major migraine and just can't think straight or see straight. And hey, I've got Advil, Tylenol, Excedrin, this. Yep. Everything's labeled, that peace of mind of here, I can help you. To like going down to the friend's house and they got a brand new property. And they're like, man, I have so many branches that I just wish I could cut down. Boop, and I got a little saw. Let's knock out these. I've got gloves for us too. Like I literally have everything in this bag.
Let's go
sliding off the road.
Trees.
Yeah, sliding off the road, I've got a little shovel that collapses down. So take that out, and now I can get us out of that ditch, that scenario. I have used every aspect of my bag. And what's great about even just starting small, you start small to figure out what you need. And then as you grow and as you advance, you're like, I never used any of these certain items, but I did use blank, blank, and blank. And so these bags are going to be customized to your needs and what you need them for. And on top of that, they're going to change depending on the season. We live up north, so we're going to change out our shorts and t-shirts and whatever with sweaters and jeans and whatever in our bags when winter comes. So it's not something that it's just a one and done. You set it up, you put it in your vehicle. It can be like just emergency supplies only and nothing else in there. But
that's true. And these bags, like the content of what's in these bags, there's like, I would consider 10 things that are essential, 10 items that are essential. But like, I don't have a foldable shovel. I live in Wisconsin. That might be a smart thing for me to add to my bag. But I don't have that now. Cam has that, but I don't. There are certain things that I probably have in my bag that he doesn't have in his bag. You can get these bags. I mean, you can get really crazy with these things to a point where it's just, it almost becomes a bug out bag if you're not careful. I mean, you have to understand and realize you're not prepping for if the world ends and I'm in my car, I need a bag that I could survive for 10 years off of. No, that's not the point of a Get Home bag. A Get Home bag builds into like an everyday, it builds into like, hey, I'm broken down, emergency situations. It can build into what's called a 24-hour bag, or if you're stranded somewhere for 24 hours, the contents of this bag has items in it that will allow you to survive for 24 hours. That can then build into a 3-day bag where the contents of this bag has, I can survive for 3 days. And then that builds into like just a plain old bug out bag. I don't want to get into 24-hour bags, 3-day bags, and bug out bags, because that's a whole nother subset of things to put in them. The bags get bigger, they get heavier. You have to now think about weight because you're carrying these things on your back. That's the whole point of these bags, is if you have to leave somewhere. But for the Get Home bag, that's a bag for me that's like, okay, that's like it's going to get me home, unless I'm, 100 miles away from home. Then that's where, like, my bag is essentially a 3-day bag, but I didn't build it. I didn't start at a 3-day bag. But in any case, getting back to the point of just the Get Home bag, the 10 essential things. So I want to get into just the 10 essential things that I think would be good to have in this bag. I'm going to burn through the 10 and then we can go back and talk through them more specific detail. So the 10 things that I think would be good to have in this bag, some water, a hydration source. 2 is food. 3, extra clothing. 4, some kind of shelter. 5, a light source. 6, a first aid kit. 7, a multi-tool. 8, some type of communication device. 9, some cash. And 10 is personal identification. So we can run through those in more detail. So water, number 1, water, a hydration source. Does that mean it's a bottle of water? Does that mean it's a steel canteen that I can burn over a fire and boil if I have to? Like, what kind of water do you have?
Do we want to go through my bag and see if I meet all 10 of your expectations? We could do that.
These are this is baseline expectations. Like, I have a feeling if you go through your bag or my bag, it's going to be like, oh, like I have a Catadine system in my bag, I do too. It's a full, like I can pump water out of a river and drink it. Like that's what I have. But for most people starting out,
go ahead.
Most people starting out, water, what I would suggest, because this is what I did, I carried a gallon of water, and then I would just have some type of container that I can carry that water in if I need to leave my vehicle. So I'm not going to carry a gallon of water if I'm walking home. I'm just going to fill my container. It's enough water to get me home and be done with it. So for water, if you're just starting out, just starting to build a bag, I would recommend just having an empty container, an Nalgene bottle, something like that that's empty, and then go get a gallon of water and just keep the gallon of water in your car. And then if you ever have to use it, you have something to pour the water into and be done with it. So for water, basic pack, that's what I would do.
Yeah. So for water, I normally have we do every trip where we have the 1 liter smart water bottles. Every single person has one so that we stay hydrated throughout the whole trip. But if it was a scenario where we're needing to get home, that's why they're called Get Home bags. This bag will last us 3 days for our family. Family of 4, 3 days. And when I bought this bag was actually on a super clearance because they were trying to get rid of it. And those are always the kind of deals that I look for. It's not something where it's like, oh, this is the best of the best, I'm going to just buy this one.
Yeah.
This one, based on the size and what I was trying to accomplish. I mean, this one, open up the back here. There's actual straps that turn it into a backpack.
Yeah.
So it could be a briefcase, or it can be, or duffel bag, I should say, not briefcase. Or it could be something that you carry around your back and it's got, the waist straps and that kind of stuff. But
have you weighed that?
Water-wise, yes. It's exactly 30 pounds, which is a lot. I know. Yeah. But I'm thinking of the scenario of that's just always in the vehicle at all times. And I'm continually changing things out to make it lighter and lighter. But that doesn't include, like, my wife's got her purse. My boys will have 2 backpacks of their own that when we go on vacation they have with their supplies, like fun stuff. Some of this stuff can go into theirs, but I'm looking at it from the aspect of I'm going to be the primary person. I'll carry the weight of our family, and these supplies are going to dwindle down over time. The food items, the clothes, the whatever, like, it will get lighter over time. It's just initially it starts off at exactly 30 pounds.
Now, do you take a stock of water, or you just have the containers in the Catadine for if you need just to go collect it?
I take I'll just grab it because it's in the room right next to me.
While he's doing that, what I do is I have water and I have my Nalgene bottle that's empty. It's not even an Nalgene bottle. It's a cheap stainless steel. You get a 10-pack on Amazon for like $10. Have that with me. And then I also, as a secondary, have my Catadine system where I can literally hand crank and pump water out of anything and it'll filter it and I can drink it as kind of like the backup to if for some reason my water spills or gets stolen, or I don't know, it's just a backup, 2 is 1 and 1 is none in this area. So,
yeah.
You
so
brought out a block.
Here's here's my little water block for our family. Like if we're on the road, whatever, need to fill it up.
What's that?
If we're just traveling, 3 gallons. Yeah.
3 gallons.
So we also have water pouch, water straw. This there's actual attachment in the bag here that can connect up to a hose or faucet or anything like that to actually feed water through this back into the bag.
So it's a hydration bladder. It's a hydration bladder that can go in the backpack.
Correct. And then I also have the, your canteens. This is a single walled canteen water bottle thing.
Yeah.
So you can actually boil water in this because it's a single wall.
Yeah, that's what I
cup in here as well.
I'd recommend that too. If you're getting just something to store water in or to pour water in as a get home bag or bug out bag or anything like that, go with stainless steel because it's multifunctional. You can't boil water with an Nalgene bottle, but you can with a stainless steel. So all my stuff is stainless steel.
And single wall. If you do a double wall, it can explode. So
yes.
Don't do that.
Single wall, people. Single wall. Okay. Cool. Well,
I'll put this away later.
You mentioned too, you did brought into the second point is food. So for basic essentials, for just a basic bag, I would just like some protein bars or some energy bars, trail mix, dried fruits, just something that has a good shelf life. That's just real easy to get to. Some people get real big and take those, like those mini camping sets and they have like soups and stuff that you just got to break it out and cook it. An everyday get home bag or an everyday carry bag like this is like, it's meant to be used. So I would just personally, and that's that's literally all I have in mind. I have energy bars, trail mix. Now that I have Miss Piggy's my freeze dryer. Now I'm putting some freeze dried stuff in there because freeze dried food is really, really light. It can compact down really, really small. And all you have to do is add hot water. So yes, or you don't even have to add water. Most freeze-dried food, if it's cooked, like you can eat it in a freeze-dried state and still get the same nutritional value as if it were a cooked meal. So definitely. I'm starting to substitute out freeze-dried food and some energy bars in case I just want a quick, insulin boost, get some energy bars in me. Yeah.
Going back slightly to the water, having some kind of filter. So Life straws, there's the smaller brands. What are they? Not Samson. I can't think of the brand, but they've got little ones that are about like this big.
Yeah. Sawyer.
Sawyer. Thank you. Having some kind of filtration system, iodine tablets, something like that. This is the ease of use. I don't have to put a tablet into a bottle and wait for it to disinfect and all that kind of stuff. This is just drink straight from a stream or something. Yeah. But going back to food, I've got protein bars. I've got suckers and candies for like if you're having a diabetic attack or crash or sugar crash or something like that as well. But I've got
that's smart.
Some like freeze dried meals. Now this was before.
Hold on.
This was before I got my freeze dryer.
All right.
So I'm going to keep it in there. I'm going to use it. I'm not going to waste them.
You know where I was going with that.
Before I got my freeze dryer, I do. Because I initially started buying these. I'm like, oh yeah, freeze dried food is the way to go. And then I found the freeze dryer, and this was 3 years ago, something like that. Yeah. And started buying that. Now, if you go to buy these today,
like $12,
they're much more expensive. You've got inflation and you've got shrinkflation. So they're more expensive and you get less product now.
And for those of you listening, he's holding up the Mountain House freeze-dried food meals. That's
beef stew.
Beef stew. That the stuff you can buy at like Walmart for camping. Anyway, just to give context to the listeners. Yeah. Okay, continue.
Yep. And then, so now JT and I are in a position now where we can freeze dry our own meals, our own breakfasts, or our own whatever. Add some boiling water into it with our campfires, our canteens, or whatever, and now we can mix it and we're good to go. So we can continue to travel. And then I also have some just SOS food blocks, food rations, where they're just energy bars or a mix of the nutrients that you need. Yeah. And there are 3 days worth of rations in here for a person. So I've got 4 of these in here as a like worst case scenario. Like I don't have any food, but hey, we got to keep walking. just chew on this bar for a while on the way home. You know,
you may think I'm crazy. I love the taste of those. Maybe it's because of my military days with doing MREs, but I love the taste of those bars. Most people are like, these things are nasty. Now, they're not the, I don't mind them. It's just like a really thick, kind of chalky peanut butter bar, but it's got enough of what you need to survive, and it's a small package. So yeah, having some kind of food in your bag to get you through something that might happen. Granted, we have stuff in our bags that get us through, like, you know, if technology ends up ceasing to operate because of a solar flare, our bags will get us home. Because we'll be walking at that point. But for most of us, or for the people out there who are just starting into this, start with just your day-to-day. If you break down in your car or you're away from home, you need to get home somehow, or you have to wait for help to get to you. Here are the things that'll just help get you by. Food, one of them. Having water. Do you necessarily need a life straw? Technically, no, but you would definitely want to build into that.
Yeah. Well, okay. Think about it this way. If you don't have a way to filter your water, don't just go up to a stream and like, oh, I'm so thirsty, and drink the water. Like, that's how you quickly get really sick, and people die that way. So, like, you know, you got to be careful on where you're drinking your water from.
You'd be having to poop for
lots
days.
of events happen. Yeah, exactly. Think about all the scenarios for like Katrina and stuff like that. Filtered water was a huge issue. It may not have been communicated all the time. You may not have heard about it, but trying to get filtered water was a big deal. If you don't have something to filter your water, you're going to have to boil your water. How much time does that take? Do you have the right equipment to do that? Do you know how to start a fire to be able to boil your water? You know, something like that.
Keep Katrina on your list, because when we go into and talk about in a future episode about like stuff you want to keep at home and stocking up water and all that, that's a really good scenario to get into a lot of good dialogue on that stuff. So okay, so food, water. Third on the list was some clothing. This shouldn't take too much time. Clothing, just dress for the season. I'm in Wisconsin. Yeah. It is wintertime. We are in an Arctic cold blast right now. So my bag has hat, gloves, Sherpas. I think that's what the Sherpas. It's kind of like a man scarf. It's got some Sherpas.
I don't know.
under like the Under Armour pants. That way I can like take my pants off, strip down, and put those underlings on. And same with the shirts, because it's thin. Like the Under Armour stuff is thin, and it can keep yourself really, really warm. An extra jacket, and that's just to keep me warm in case my truck breaks down and I'm waiting for a tow truck. And then if I need to get home, like I do carry an extra pair of snow boots in case I do have to walk. Cause I wear Crocs 90% of the time. Like I'm wearing Crocs everywhere. And I leave the house when it's snowing in Crocs, cause I'm going to my truck, going to the store, coming home. But I do have snow boots in my truck. So clothing, just having, during the spring, summer, fall, a rain jacket, maybe, just extra clothes for the season.
Now, we keep all of our stuff outside of this bag. We have if we take jackets because it's wintertime and that kind of stuff, every single person has a jacket that's waterproof. They have gloves, they have hats. We keep them in certain pockets. We always have those on us. We always check them before we leave. When it comes to clothes, we have a tub that's a spare outfit for each person, depending on the time of year.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned spare outfit, because how many times, if those of you who have kids, how many times you're out somewhere and your kid's like, I don't know, jump in a mud puddle and, having a spare set of clothes, or your baby, your newborn baby, like poops through the diaper and it's all over. There's that. I mean, just having that spare set of changing clothes could be a lifesaver. You're
at the grocery store. You get a phone call saying, hey, your kid just had an accident. Can you bring them a spare outfit or a pair of clothes? Normally you would have to be like, okay, and run home, go get the spare outfit, and then head back there. Instead, now you can go straight to them.
Yep.
So, you can use it outside of your normal, use it for everyday life, not just for your emergency kit.
Cool.
But yes, we have those.
Yeah, close. Shelter. Okay, why do I need a shelter? Now let's define what a shelter is. No, you are not carrying or packing like a camping tent with you at all times. For me, a shelter is just something a material that is able to shield you from the elements. This could be as cheap as a 10 by 10 tarp, or an emergency blanket, or something that doubles as I can cover myself and shield myself from the elements. The life bivvies, stuff like that. But if you don't want to pay $40 for a light bivvy, go to Walmart and literally get yourself a $7 tarp. And it's flat. It's
Definitely
light. It's just something to shield you from the elements. I actually had a real world scenario where I had to use this years ago. I was in Michigan. I just started out prepping and stuff, and I had one of these basic bags, and a buddy of mine, we were driving and we went to the store or Walmart or something like that, and his car got broken into. I had my bag with me, and my bag was still there when we got out, but his window was broken. And it was like Michigan cold, dead middle of winter. And we were like, I don't know, 45 minutes away from his house. So we got the tarp out, and I have duct tape. I have tape and stuff in my bag as well. I have some kind of adhesive, and we taped the tarp up to the windows so we weren't freezing freaking cold on the 45-minute drive. So that was a real world scenario where having some type of material to shield elements from. I actually had a story about that. So some kind of tarp. And then if you ever need to find yourself, you need to actually spend the night outside. I hope that's not the case. But a tarp can really be a lifesaver.
Definitely. Yeah. And so from my perspective, for my bag, the basic things that I have, can you see my screen, by the way? Because you're locked up on mine.
I can.
If you can see me, we're okay. Okay. Yeah. Cool. I've got rain ponchos for each person, adults versus children size.
Right.
And I keep a spare one for each, so I have 3 adults and 3 kids. We have these life tents. It's basically what you're saying, just a tarp kind of thing where it comes with lines to run up to trees. And then you have your just classic hangover style, where you can have a self-contained tent, with a floor base. And then this is a 4-pack of emergency blankets, all nice rolled up, nice clean. So I've got 2 of these in our bag because you could fit 2 people in each tent. And then a pack of 4 for emergency blankets. But we have everything we need here for shelter. And then I also have a poncho. It's not in this bag. It's my everyday carry bag that I use. I don't have it equipped right now, but if I'm going on trips by myself or going somewhere out of the country or something like that, I've got a heavy grade poncho, like a military grade poncho kind of thing.
So side question, this item isn't on my top 10 list, but it's a debate of whether you should have it in a very, very basic getting started bag. It's cordage. Do you think cordage is important for just a basic getting started, like not a survival bag? Do you think cordage is important?
There's just so many aspects to it. I would say yes, because the cordage that I have, you can look at the cordage that has other elements that are part of it. Fishing line, fire starter. I'm trying to think of the other one. It's like security line. They've got some cordage out there that has multiple lines stringed through it.
Yeah.
You can use it to make your shelter. If you have like just a heavy duty poncho, not just these little cheap plasticky ones that are like a one-time use. Most ponchos come with grommets in them. And now you can turn that into your shelter where you run a line from tree to tree, drape that poncho over it. And now you've got somewhere to sleep under where you're not going to get the elements hitting you.
Yeah.
I would say, but a lot of people don't know how to use cordage. They don't know how to tie knots. They don't know how to, whatever. So from your question or aspect of should they really get it? If you don't know how to use it, then probably not.
I'm finding this conversation more and more difficult because I'm trying to put my brain in a brand new person's shoes.
Yeah.
Like you said, doesn't maybe not know how to tie knots. Like what are the basic bare essential things? Like my brain goes, okay, cordage is a bare essential. Fire is a bare essential. Like, but really is it when it comes to just getting going? Like I just have something with a bag that's meant to, I don't know. I'm finding it hard to like think on that level because
so if you look at it from the aspect of shelter, if you have this in your vehicle, most people have shelter. They can stay in their car. If they lose, their battery dies, they run out of gas, whatever the case may be, they're at least in a shelter of a vehicle. We live in a day and age where most people are around cities, so you can find buildings to go into if you need a shelter.
Yeah.
But ours is called a Get Home bag. How far are you away from home? I was just trying to look up, like, if I went to visit my family in Kentucky, and I need to get from Kentucky back home, how many days is that walking? I could tell you there are several parts of that trip where there's nothing around you. There's no buildings or anything for miles.
Probably no cell service either.
No. So if you're having to walk home for some reason, what are you going to do for shelter? You got to do something. Yeah. That's the number one thing from a survival perspective, shelter, food, water. Yeah. So anyways, to me, it should be a part of it, and people need to learn how to use them, so that, you come to a certain stage in your life where you can't just rely on other people to do everything for you. So, like, if this is something where you need to learn how to tie a rope around the tree to give yourself a temporary shelter, like, you got to kind of learn that. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, I won't comment on that because
I know.
Comment about people and this day and age and work ethic and all kinds of stuff. You got to learn how to do this crap, people. There's no AI or robot that's going to do it for you yet, but I'm sure it will come. Okay, cool.
Next one.
Well, we kind of already hit about it. A light source. We talked about flashlights and having multiple light sources, not just one. Having a couple.
This is in my bag. A little lantern.
Yep. Oh man, I have a blow up one. The one that you actually blow up.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
LED charge. I've got all my and you can actually plug in your phone or something in here to charge your phone as well. So it's also a battery brick kind of thing.
Oh, see, that's nice. That's nice. I just blow mine up and it's a little solar light. I don't have cool things like I could charge my phone. I do have an extra battery bank. I do have a battery bank in my bag that's charged. That's got a solar thing. It's actually really, really cool. I bought like 4 of these things, but it's a really high capacity. Did you get the same one as me?
Because I showed it to you one time and you're like, oh, I've got the exact same one.
Yeah. It's got like this folding solar panel thing. Oh, it's so slick. I got 4 of them. For charging devices. And that's another thing that didn't make it on the list, but is probably in today's generation essential to have some type of power source to charge your devices. And I actually probably might want to add that to this list of essential things in some type of get home bag, is to have stuff to charge your phones and tablets and stuff with. So, okay. But light source, covered light source, flashlights, multi-purpose lights, like Cam just had, a lantern that also charges. They kind of operates like a power brick and a lantern. Or
I've got little snap lights. These were cheap on Amazon. There was like a 5-pack each person, and how fun for the kids. Like snap, you guys get to shake it, and you get a really cool light to guide you around, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I look at everything as multifunctional.
Yeah, multifunctional.
But this is something you put on the road. Like as you're driving around places. Driving around. Say for emergency purposes, you're stranded on the side of the road. You can put this on the road as a alerting kind of thing.
All right, cool. So light source. I'm going to skip 6 and wait and let 6 be last because that's going to be a big one. Okay. So, and we kind of already hit number 7, which is a multi-tool. You typically have a multi-tool for an EDC. Having a spare in your bag just in case never hurts. To have a spare multi-tool, because multi-tools they're so versatile and handy in situations. Like you can do so many things with a multi-tool. So have more than one. Like I said, 2 is 1 and 1 is none, people. Anything on multi-tools? We kind of already covered that. You're digging for something.
Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. I always have a knife as well. So,
straight blade knife, or is it serrated, or does it matter?
Yeah, nope. It's a full
tang.
Full tang. So, every one of my family members has one.
Yep.
In their bag. So.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that's about it.
Yeah. Communication device. Now you can you can put your phone in this, lumped in this category. I think the battery bank kind of lumps into this communication device. You want a fully charged cell phone or some kind of power source. I guess you can put one of those. Do you really need it? Because some people put hand crank radios or ham radios in their Get Home bags. That's also an option. Ham radios, if you want to put a ham radio in there, you do technically need a ham radio operator license. But if you just need short range stuff, just walkie talkies, I guess. If you're out in the middle of the woods driving on a road and you have no idea where you are, and you need to split up for any reason, I guess having a radio could help.
So we did that route. I don't have a ham radio. I do have some Baofangs. They've got all sorts of these. So we'll put this video on YouTube or whatever, different platforms for people to watch. But I've got 2 little Baofang like walkie-talkies. So I think it was $80 or something like that. But we've tested these in real life. We were in Pennsylvania. A tornado came through, knocked down all the trees. I need to see how far the damage was, and I had to walk. I think it was 2 miles, and we were still able to communicate with each other, no problem. But we've used them in real life, so it's already been nice.
Okay, all right.
That 2 miles was no static or interruptions or anything like that. So I'm sure they can go a lot farther.
I have ham radios in my stuff, but I just thought of another one for my emergency bag or my Get Home bag, which is basically a 3-day pack. I think I might. Yeah. You're gonna make me spend money because you mentioned Pennsylvania trees dropping. I might just put one of those DJI drones in my bag for surveillance.
No, yeah. So when you get to a point where your bag starts to get like, okay, I'm good. Like, what new, cool, exciting thing should I get? A drone is for sure on my list for operational security.
Yeah, yes. OPSEC. They make them super small. The cameras in them obviously are a lot better. And those things, most of them are they can stream right to your phone. Some of them you can even control with your phone and have video linking and all. They're so cool, and they're small and they're lightweight. I might consider putting a drone in my bag, and I'll chalk that to the communication device category. So cool. Yeah. Communication. That's
next on my list. So I agree with you.
But at bare minimum, you want a battery bank to charge your phone. At bare minimum.
Well, I wouldn't even say that as bare minimum. To me, bare minimum would be pencil and paper. How many times are you like, you need to go get your kids from school, but your wife needs to go get somebody else, or whatever the case may be. We don't understand the benefits of pencil and paper to this day. So what I have for ours is the pen and paper that can write in the rain and that kind of stuff. So it's not going to like wash away or, smear or something like that. But to me, that's a basic. You can write something on a note and slap it on your windshield saying, walking down the street to the nearest gas station. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's the cheapest, most basic thing in my opinion. But yes, I have battery blocks for my phone and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So bare minimum, pen and paper that you can write in the rain. Secondary to that, battery bank for your phone. Number 9, cash. Some cash. You want some cash in your bag. It just always feels good to have a little emergency cash, I keep about $100 in mine of small bills. Some people carry more, some people carry less. We're getting into more of a cashless society now. So in a few years, we, may not be carrying cash in our bags, but yeah, I do have $100 in small bills, in cash that I carry just to have. And a lot of this, we've got to keep in mind, like these everyday carry bags, yes, they're there for like disaster mitigation. But they're also there for like everyday, oh crap, I forgot my wallet and I want to go to McDonald's because I'm hungry. Like if I forgot my wallet, and your bag just sits in your car, I know that I have cash in my bag. I can go grab some cash and go to McDonald's and get some food because I forgot my wallet. So remembering, and I don't want to digress too far away from the purpose of the starter bag, is yes, it is for disaster mitigation, emergency mitigation, but it's also like there for like stuff like, oh, I forgot my wallet and I need some cash.
Power goes out, you're at a gas station, or credit card machines aren't working, and you need to get gas for your car. That's the scenario I always think of is I go to a gas station. How many times do you go to a gas station and the credit card's not working on the pump, or you go inside and the credit machines are down because they lost the internet? So many times. And then you're like, oh crap, now I don't know what to do. I don't have any cash on me because we've become a cashless society.
Yep.
That is the prime reason to have. I tend to keep $200 on me, but I don't have any in my bag right now. So thanks for the reminder. I got to get that re-added back to my bag.
Get some in your bag.
Because we used ours.
Yeah. Another thing is on the like whole forgetting of your wallet and stuff like that. And this is number 10 is like have some personal identification, like copies of your driver's license, copies of your passport, something in a waterproof container that can identify who you are, your insurance cards, stuff like that. Because like if I'm at home and let's just say we need to rush to the hospital for any reason and we're just rush out and I forget the insurance cards. It's like, well, I can just go and I got copies in the bag. I can just go grab them. If I forget my wallet, I get pulled over by the cops. Maybe he'll accept a paper, photocopy of my driver's license front and back. I don't know. I've never been put in that scenario, but who knows? So have some personal identification copies in like a waterproof container in your bag.
Yeah, I agree. License, passport, insurance cards, and a picture of my family and then names, ages, date of births, that kind of stuff.
Yep. That's also good.
That's usually what I keep.
Having that basic information.
The one thing I started adding, I'm actually typing it up. I just need to print it off, is locations to different family members' houses and the distance from each location. That's when you start getting really advanced into like your preps and that kind of stuff. It's just like
numbers?
if I'm...
Do you have like emergency contact phone numbers in that as well?
Yep, I do. So it's got police, firefighters,
like
medical...
Aunt Betty? I mean, do you have Aunt Betty's phone number?
And then I've got family members. I've got like the primary family members, but I don't have like every aunt, every uncle, cousins, stuff like that. Just the primary people.
One or two primaries in there. Okay, cool. All right, cool. All right, the last thing that I skipped, that'll be a big one. Can you guess what it is? You better guess what this is.
Fire?
No, not fire. It starts with an F, though. Ouch, I got a boo-boo.
Oh, first aid, yeah.
First aid. Having a first aid kit. Could be just a basic Walmart first aid, just something for like cuts, scrapes. They don't need to be surgical bags. But I don't know how many, if you have kids, you're going to go to the park and your kid's going to fall off the monkey bars or scrape his knee. Just having a first aid kit in your bag just to be able to clean all that stuff up and let the kid go get another scrape 20 minutes later. It's essential. Have a first aid kit and then build into the trauma kits. Cause that's what I have. The trauma kits stays with, my wife, cause she's the nurse.
Yep. Yeah. So our first aid kit in our bug out bag, it's got your Band-Aids, your Neosporin, your cortisone, anti-itch cream, sterilization, drugs, that kind of stuff, all that kind of stuff. But I also included hand sanitizer, a bar of soap. Sometimes if you're gone for 3 days, I'm just saying if you're trying to get home and it's going to be a 3-day walk or something like that.
The last thing on my mind is taking a bath in a river.
I've just put it in there. You got to wash your hands. You've ran out of hand sanitizer, or
I get the hand sanitizer.
Infected area, like say you got cut or something like that. And you need to like disinfect it all. You don't have any more. You squeeze the whole bottle of hand sanitizer, whatever. You already used it on your hands for some amount of time. Whatever. I got a bar of soap.
But the bar of soap.
I think there's more uses there than you see at this time.
Potentially, but I've been doing this for like 10 years now, and I still don't understand a bar of soap. But it's fine. It's fine. I love giving people crap. You know what?
And
here's what's going to happen. No. Here's what's going to happen, because it always happens to me. I make fun of somebody for something, and then karma She comes roaring at my door sometime later, and I know what's going to happen. I'm going to be in my truck, or so I'm going to be in a scenario where I'm like, dang it, I wish I had a freaking bar of soap.
Man, I smell horrible. I've been backtracking these woods for the last 3 days now, and I just smell awful. Oh, hey, look, a lake. I could just go in there real quick and wash up. Bam. But then, anyways, for first aid, that's where it progresses to like an emergency medical bag. This goes onto my everyday carry bag. I've got these handy little strap here, so it actually goes onto the mole. Yeah. So it actually straps onto my backpack, so it's not taking up bag space.
I like that.
But is that a quick?
Is that a kit or is that a bag that you built?
I built this one.
Okay, I want that bag.
Now it's a Van Quest. Highly recommend. I think it's a 5x8 or something like that. But it's got a section for gloves and wraps and stuff like that. No, it's all strapped in there. I just threw in some last minute things.
Okay.
So like some additional tape to wrap around. But anyways, I've got gloves. I've got the wrap with the metal clips to hold it in there. These on Amazon, okay? Little pill containers are fantastic.
They're so amazing.
You get a 2-pack for like $4 or $3. And my wife's is all labeled. Mine is not because I'm lazy. But, you know, there's labels that come with it where you can label it Tylenol, Excedrin, aspirin, whatever. But this includes everything for traveling. Toilet paper, you just put a little water on them.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
Yep.
Some mole strips if you're walking a lot and you've completely worn out your shoes and you're bleeding on your, you know, heels or, you know, whatever. Some mole tape to put on there.
Mole tape is good. It's good. And there's applications for mole. There's applications for mole tape even if you're not like, you know, in an emergency situation. Like I bought new boots and, you know, breaking them in and walking around Walmart, and I'm like, man, my feet freaking hurt. Quick clot? Is that what that is? Quick clot?
Yep. And then how about this? You get stung by a bee or something like that. I've got sting relief swabs. They're pre-measured liquid self-contained tubes or whatever. You break it open, and now you've got a swab that you can put this on a sting of whatever sort. Yeah. And it gets rid of the sting. So
nice. These are all great things to have in a bag. Even if you're just starting out and you don't have a big budget, these are all Walmart items. Like you can get all this basic stuff at Walmart. And then as you work your bag, and like we've mentioned before, as you work your bag and get things out, you may think of, oh, I should maybe have this in my bag, or you build up into it. The whole goal, I think, in my mind, if you're getting into prepping or if you're into it and you just don't know a whole lot, like start with this basic bag. But the goal is to get you in a full-blown 3-day kit. I think that's the goal, where you know, your medical goes from a basic boo-boo kit to like, I have almost like a travel trauma kit with me where I have tourniquets and things like that. Because in an emergency situation, not only where it can really benefit when you're getting it, when you have these bags with this stuff in it that sits in the car or truck, you may not actually be the one in trouble. You may come along somebody else, and because as preppers, we're good Samaritans, you have stuff in your bag that can help other people, whether it be you roll up on a car accident, and because you've built a bag and maybe you've got some training, you know, because the next thing you should get into is, if you start building a bag, you should start researching skill sets for these different components, like fire starting. Okay, how do I start a fire? I mean, it's basic, but a lot of people don't know how to start a fire if they don't have a lighter and lighter fluid. Like, how do you start a fire with just like, you know, a ferro rod? How do I, when is it from a first aid perspective, dude? I took I was gonna, and then we moved, get into a first aid trauma class. And cause you can go,
it's on my list.
Classes. They're not that expensive, but they'll train you on just basic, like first responder type things. Like, when is it appropriate to put a tourniquet on somebody? How do you put a tourniquet on? It's not like you just wrap. There's a thing to it. How do you identify certain symptoms of choking and this and that? Like, then once you get those skill sets, you can build into like the mini trauma kit that you have. So if you roll up on an accident, you actually can be a asset to that person and potentially save their life while you're waiting for first responders to come. So medical is a big thing. That's why we're considering, and we've pretty much made the decision, we may dedicate a couple Mondays to Medical Monday just to talk about the medical side of things, because it's a huge aspect of prepping.
It is any kind of medical scenario is a quick acting scenario.
Yes.
So if you have like somebody gets a gash in their arm or something like that, a tourniquet is going to stop that bleeding as fast as possible. You can save a person's life, but you have to act within seconds, within minutes to get that accomplished. Because if you don't, it's too late at that point. We have a lot of medical supplies. And
if blood is not your thing, still have a first aid kit, because somebody else on site may have the knowledge but don't have the materials or the resources for it. But even things like how to splint, how to splint a broken arm, stuff like that could really help out in an emergency situation. So that was my basic top 10. As I was walking you through this, there was a couple other things we could add on there, but that was just the basics.
Yeah, the one thing that I think was missing was you didn't have a dedicated fire or heat or whatever. I mean, so like you could use the emergency blanket to stay warm, but fire is a huge one. Being able to light a fire, to boil water, to cook food, to whatever.
Yeah. I didn't put that on there on purpose, because I was really trying to, as I was thinking through and writing my notes down for this, I was thinking through, this is a very, very basic baseline, like everyday trying to put myself in a non-prepping mindset.
Yeah, no, I get that. I would at least have some kind of matches, lighter, even if it's something that's quick. So, the ferro rod, that's, people have to learn how to like scrape it to create the spark to light something on fire. But if you can at least have a match or a lighter to have an instant fire, you need to have some kind of fire. If you're freezing cold because it's wintertime and you're on the side of the road, and it doesn't matter if you have shelter or whatever, you can still freeze to death. So yeah, you need some way of staying warm.
For sure.
And then you upgrade to, like a solo stove in your kit. So then you have like a 4-person whatever.
That's so cute. I don't have a solo stove. Yeah. I have just one of those basic folding, it's just a titanium folding stove. You just put leaves and sticks in it. I don't need fuel or anything. But mine folds down really, really flat. It's really basic.
Only reason why I have this one is because I got it for free. So, a four person. And I also did it for OPSEC. There's no smoke. So you don't have to worry about making people aware of your surroundings. That's the nice thing about solo stoves.
Yeah. So. No smoke. Okay. Makes sense.
Anyways, but we have we're going on just over an hour and 8 minutes.
Yeah, just over an hour. We did pretty good on time.
I think so.
I think we did pretty good on time, but I think we'll cap it at that. And I think what we'll do, I don't know, maybe as we come into Friday, we'll go into something else, but let us know what you guys think. I will leave you with this. The will to survive is not as important as the preparation to survive, as my mentor Bear Grylls would once said.
Man, that is so good and so on point.
Oh, so on point.
Is that a Chat GPT thing? Did you find that?
Oh my gosh. I typed in, I was like, give me some quotes for emergency preparedness. It gave me 10 of them. And I'm like, I like that one from Bear Grylls. So in any case, people, have a good week. We'll see you again on Friday.
Thank you for listening to the Preppin Patriots Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving a 5-star review. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can do so at contact@preppinpatriots.stream. And finally, this episode was sponsored by nobody.